Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Peace on the Streets Radio Show. And I'm your host, Prince of the Sun.
Hey, and your girl, Mimi Mala. What?
And you Leva, what's up, everybody?
What's going on, Neo? We got a full house today, you guys.
A complete full house. So guess what we have in the building?
Yeah. Who we got, Mimi?
So we have our future mayor,
Yeah.
Samuel Bings.
Hey, yeah. What's up, Mr. Sim? How are you?
Hey, I am wonderful, Prince. How are you, sir?
I am doing well. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we want to thank Cynthia Harris.
Oh, yes.
So the house in the
doing?
building.
And she
Number
said
one advocate.
she's an advocate in the house. How you doing, Cynthia?
So Cynthia, I just gotta say, you bring some amazing people to the station here on WOKB. Thank you so much for what you do for us all, for the homeless, for the children. We appreciate you. You've been in our life for quite some time.
Yeah, I appreciate you all too.
We really do. So thank you for bringing the beast in the game in Orlando.
Yes,
They're literally changing people's lives.
that's right. And we're glad to have you in. So, sir, you're running for the future mayor of Orange County.
Orlando.
City of Orlando.
City of
Orlando.
Okay,
And I
okay.
know that was a question there for me just to make sure I got it right.
You doggone right. I'm just making sure. I'm checking it.
Yeah, he's checking me. That's what the Prince is all about.
And you can tell he's prepared because he has notes and everything. And I see they are bulleted, they are highlighted. My man's prepared and ready to go. I like to see that myself because I don't want my representatives coming out here half-hearted.
Yeah.
They got to represent us, right? So they got to come correct. So, Mr. Inks, I got to tell you, a lot of your interviews were blowing up. People liked hearing the stuff that you were talking about. You know, you were bringing a different perspective that we just don't hear enough about. Our politicians don't talk to us enough. They don't really represent us enough. You look up interviews for the mayor and you find 3-minute clips from years ago. All right, we need that, right? We need people that come out, talk to us. So we are here, man. We are so excited to talk to you again. What you got to tell us today?
Well, I'm so excited about you guys. I mean, you bring such joy to my heart. And the last time I was here, Peace on the Streets, what did I say? It'll be part of my administration. We'll partner up together. I won't leave you just because you had me on your show.
Come on.
And after the election, I win. I'm sworn.
And he's like, that's how it
Yes.
Those guys.
We don't want to call names because they're in a really great position right now, but they needed us to help them with their media run. Not only us, but they ran all the media platforms. But they are still, it's just when you're in that seat, just overwhelming amount of work. So we understand that, we respect
Absolutely.
that. So they do share our stuff and like our stuff.
And
still.
she's been
We
doing
did
her
a
job.
family.
She's been doing her job.
And he says she.
I can't complain, you know what I mean? She's y'all doing it.
Well, the one thing that I said the last time, and I say again this time, Peace on the Streets, and Mayor Samuel B. Ings will be on the streets,
Let's go.
representing and protecting the people on the streets.
Yes, that's right. So what?
I gotta say this real quick though. I was in Pine Hills today, and I was deep in Pine Hills. I see so many people that are so angry. They just yell at each other. They curse each other out. They're cursing their kids out. They're just angry. I even lost my mind when I left because if I stay here, I will get angry and fight too. So I had to leave, and I had to explain to my kids this is not what you want. You want to better yourself, surround yourself. You can leave bad atmospheres and make a better life for yourself. And it seems like they're trapped in Pine Hills. They seem like they have no hope. They seem like they're always angry, like there's not much for them. Why are they so angry?
But it's not just Pine Hills. It's everywhere. I mean, look at our situation we face a housing crisis. We face a transportation crisis. We face a food shortage and jobs. So, when you're talking about anger, what else is there left to do?
There's not much provided or given to them as there are to other cities, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anxiety in the air, and especially dealing with our homeless people.
Yes. Yes.
Our homeless people are out there not because they want to be there.
Right.
but they have no other choice.
Absolutely.
They
agree.
don't have money to pay the rent, so where do they have to be? On the street somewhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't have the funds to be able to buy food
Right.
and take care of themselves, even from purchasing medicine
Yeah.
or anything
It's
like
crazy.
that. It is crazy.
So what can the mayor do? I mean, to help with the homeless and especially with the housing situation.
And you're absolutely right, Prince. As far as the housing situation is concerned, we've got to get them into some type of transitional housing.
Right.
Because you just can't take them off the streets and put them in a house and say, now live.
Right.
And see, I will have a comprehensive program to deal with the homeless issue. And that comprehensive program, I can't lay it all out to you, but I can say this, that it will really get to the heart of the matter. Because we know that the number one cause of homelessness is addiction. So you got to get that body cleaned up,
Yes.
first of all. And then the other problem is domestic violence. Because that wife is kicked out of the house, she's taken the kids, she has no place to go. And then when she does go to a friend's house, it's only for a day or two.
Right.
So where is she? Out there on the street? It's either in the car or
Certainly.
in tents. And they're now bringing dogs out too.
Right. And that's definitely a problem. But what about housing? Like the cost of the housing, renting.
They're just way too high, you know. It just went out the roof. Is there anything that the politicians can, I mean, you know, the mayor can do to help put a cap on this housing? I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, and that part comes from having the funding available to produce housing that's going to be affordable for people to be able to live in.
Right.
And that's the key. A lot of that funding can come from the federal government, it can come from the state government, and it can also come from private donors. They can help deal with the problems of homelessness and housing cost.
Right.
And the other thing too is we cannot forget about the Orlando Housing Authority. That's a federal program. And they have a right to help us take these people off the street and put them in housing. Section 8, the wait list is long. It generally
20
takes 2 to
years.
3
That's
years before
crazy.
somebody can get a house.
That's insane.
And
Some people are on the list for 20 years.
That's a long time. being
that's a long
homeless.
time, see.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
But you
whatsoever.
know, part of that problem is that they're on the list so long is when you have people who transfer their vouchers. So if you're on a wait list for housing and someone comes from up north who already have a voucher, you get
Oh,
pushed
wow.
back. They get priority over the people that are already here.
Interesting.
No way.
Yeah.
So that's something. Is that something that the mayor could
We can change?
Yeah,
change
we
in that
have
perspective?
to deal
Like,
with the inequities.
Right.
And we have to make it a level playing field for everybody.
Absolutely.
And especially for the most vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Because the most vulnerable are already on the street.
Right.
And that's where
Sure.
we need to take care of those particular individuals.
We love it. So we got to get a song in. And we got Mr. Samuel in. And hey guys, he's going to be our next mayor.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right here. Of Orlando, Florida, right? Y'all guys keep it locked right here. Peace on the Streets Radio Show. Peace on the Streets. Y'all just can't keep running in and out of my life.
Please.
I ain't going nowhere.
Cynthia Harris in the building with Samuel B. Ings, the new mayor of Orlando, Florida.
Let's go.
Pull it out there because it happens.
It's gonna happen.
Yes. So let me ask you this, future mayor Samuel Ings.
Yes.
What do you think that we're missing right now that our mayor currently is not doing?
Good question.
Someone to walk among the homeless people and not be afraid,
Mm.
to look them in the eye, to talk to them, to shake their hand, and to ask them, why are you homeless? And you will hear so many different excuses and reasons why. But none of them really want to be homeless. They just have no opportunity but to be homeless to survive. And so they will pitch a tent on the sidewalk or on the city right away so that they can be safe and secure. And most of it is in downtown Orlando.
It sure
Downtown.
is. It's really bad.
I have
down
to
there.
say, I have to say this because it's been bugging me for quite some time. So about 2 months ago, I realized because I've actually had a homeless person throw things on my car, and when I got out of the car, I startled him. He threw things at me. So I went inside Walmart, and they actually had security walk me out to my car, and they told me the story of why. Check this out, friends. There's so many homelessness walking around like this. They say that they came from the hospital, and this is not just here in Ocoee. It's going all the way down to Popcove Island because I know people that work down there that actually seen this. They're coming out of the hospitals because they're either dehydrated or whatever the case may be. So they get their IVs and they get hydrated back. But they literally walk out with their IVs on, their bands, because they rip them off or they just keep them on and they walk out. There's nowhere to go, so they don't offer them any options. Like, they know they're homeless. Can we get you a car to take you somewhere? You know, can we get you a place to stay, food? They just let them go. So they're literally walking around with wristbands, and that's how people know they're coming from hospitals. But it's a tremendous amount of them that are like this right now in Orlando. And I can't believe, like, our system, even the hospital, doesn't have something in place. They say they don't. They say they don't have the capability.
It's about money.
About money.
Yeah.
So when they have no insurance, they have a cap on how long they can keep you there, and then they put you out.
But don't they have, like, options of shelter and food and...
No.
No.
Are they supposed to?
Well, what they're going to tell you,
To a
it's
lot of
full.
things.
By law, all they have to do is treat you.
Right.
Once they treat you,
Yo.
go.
And they're going right back in there. You know, and they're walking out like it's a hazard. They're walking out with IVs. And I saw one guy had blood all over his arm.
Yeah.
I was like, ah.
And a lot of those people that are walking out like that are subjects of mental illness.
Oh yeah.
That's the third leading cause of homelessness.
Third leading.
Third leading. The
Wow.
first is addiction. The
Interesting.
second is domestic violence.
Whoa.
And then the third is mental illness.
So domestic violence top mental illness.
Yes.
Is this something?
Yes. And then the next is joblessness or underemployment, where you're not making enough money to even pay for your rent. And as we know, the average rent is about $1,700. And you can't pay that. So you make $600. So how are you going to make up for the rest?
Right.
And especially when you need to feed the family. So
Right.
you feeding the family off of the $600 that you have to pay rent for. So you get behind in rent, and the next thing you know, you're being evicted.
So do you think this is like our wages are too low here? Or is not enough jobs for them? Or
Well, you know, when I was on the city council as a commissioner, I was advocating that we pay people $15 an hour before it became a famous thing to talk
Interesting.
about.
Right.
And nobody heard me. Even on the city council, nobody heard me. The city didn't hear me. And so that became a real problem for me, because that means all of those that are in positions to help, they are being complacent and not
Come
doing
on.
anything to help the people in the streets. And so that's why me, as Samuel B. Ings, to be the next mayor of Orlando, I would make a better Orlando for everyone. That is my promise.
so maybe like raise wages? I mean, now they're doing it $15 an hour at McDonald's. I'm happy to hear this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a
which
start for
which is
that.
great.
Yes,
It
because
is.
they were literally like getting these guys $10, $8 an hour.
We just can't make it no more off of $10.
Oh no, it literally said $8 an hour. I'm like, no one's gonna work there but a 14, 15, or 15. Or
Maybe.
yeah, maybe.
back
And
in
they
the
might
day,
get you
boy,
on Sunday.
I would have.
They're like, no way.
I remember back in the day when you was making $10 an hour, you was big stuff.
Yes.
I mean, boy, I got me $10 an hour. Yeah.
You have people in high school even not taking that $8 an hour.
Yeah.
So I mean, how
Right.
you cannot survive. It doesn't balance. Doesn't equal.
Yeah, that's kids play, you
The
know.
reason you can't survive is because prices continue to go up.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
See, those that control the jobs and the job market,
Hmm.
they steadily want to be richer.
Yeah.
All the time.
True.
All the
It's for
time.
themselves.
That's
It's for
facts.
themselves.
Yep.
But at the same time, the little person is working hard in that company.
Paying more taxes than them,
Yeah.
and they're still getting their money and paying
getting
less taxes.
hours.
Yeah.
Oh, when I
Not
walk
even
out, drop the mic,
getting
Cynthia.
a work week. So,
So what? I would love to know, like, what's on your agenda? What changes you want to make in Orlando?
Well, one, starting with homelessness. We've got to deal with that issue because there's so many problems involved around that.
Right.
And specifically, affordable housing. We talked about that in where people can't afford to live in these houses anymore.
Not even close.
Not even
No.
close.
No.
The apartment price. And
Yeah.
you know, you get an old apartment building
Yeah.
and they are charging you the current market rate for a new.
Man, that's crazy. That is crazy. Wow.
Looking at when I was checking out some apartments downtown was used to be a retirement home for old people, right?
Right.
The old people got sick of it and then they left, and now they're using those as rental units. And a 3-bedroom up there was, a 2-bedroom with the city view was going for $2,900 and
Condo. Well, they didn't change the name to condo.
ridiculous.
That's what
It wasn't even in the heart of downtown or anything. We were talking about those kinds of prices.
That's more than my mortgage.
A 1-bedroom,
My 3-bedroom.
almost
too bad.
anywhere is like $1,900. All right, you got to be making so much money to be able to afford 3 times the rent of that plus your first monthly income
And the second
and
to get
the
in.
security deposit
Yeah.
that no renter in history has ever gotten back.
And don't forget the background check.
And if you have a dog, God bless you, because
Yeah, pay another $100.
at least, you know
Yeah.
what I mean. And then you know what's frustrating is I see there's money in building houses because over in Kissimmee, where I live, you see a bunch of new houses being made, but what are they? They're vacation homes.
Exactly.
5-bedroom, 6-bathroom
3-story
vacation homes,
houses.
3-story houses, lots and lots and lots of them, starting at $500,000.
Yes.
So there's no rentals like cap here apparently, right? Because in New York there's rentals cap. There's
no, not
there's
here.
nothing here.
No,
that
we
exists.
don't have a rental.
No.
cap
Is
here.
it possible for you to do something like
Yes.
I can't say that I can.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because it's all about the capital society.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a capitalist society, and that's really what we want now. I'm not speaking against
I understand.
capitalism whatsoever, because it's about being able to make money. You guys want to make money, right? You want to make as
Yeah.
much money as you possibly can,
Yeah.
but you don't want to do it at the expense of somebody else either.
Right.
And see, and that's the difference.
Right.
And that's where we have to, kind of draw the line a little bit, and then employ and ask dearly that these corporate owners really help these situations by maintaining the cost of certain things.
Well, with all due respect, we're gonna have to do more than ask politely.
Even with your Walmart, even with your
Yes, talking to the man.
Yeah.
even with your Walmart, your grocery stores, your Walgreens, your CVS,
Publix.
your Home Depots, all of these different places. I mean, this is where when prices go up, that's when people can't afford.
Prices
Right.
go up.
When prices go up, they can't afford.
They should
And
have
so-
some sort of cap.
Right, but we can't.
But,
Like
you're
the
talking
mayor of
about-
Orlando doesn't have the power to lower the prices for these big
No.
corporations.
No.
So we need to do something
To the corporations.
as close to home as possible, right? So if we can, how are we going to address these issues? If we can you do like higher pay in Orlando? Can you do a rent-free, a rent cap or some kind of system like that? Like what directly can we actually do?
Well, I wanted to touch
rentals.
on that rent cap there. Remember, we just voted on that last year,
Yeah.
and then it was overturned
By the state.
by the governor.
Okay.
So-
Just someone did it again. He did it again.
Goodness gracious.
I'm getting sick of it. I'm just
Oh man, I'm telling you.
because I hear the
How can
greatness
we
and
how
I
can
see
we
what
fight
it does
back
inside.
against
It's
that?
wild.
Well,
Like,
we fight back with our vote. You put the people that
true, I mean,
like Sam Eames in
Yeah.
office, the people that suit your best interests. So if we keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, we're gonna keep having the DeSantis of the world.
And if we keep voting on someone like that, we're going to keep having this.
That is
administration.
correct.
Yeah.
So your vote and your voice is your power.
So I'm thinking that, well, first, a lot of them fake the funk up front, and then from the side, they're doing things, and that's what we're missing. And he speaks so well in person, but he's like sideline, he's doing everything the opposite. We need to understand, like, how, when these ideas come up, they were missing it. I didn't even know about the rentals cap. I didn't even know that was on the ballot. If I would have known that, you know what I mean, I might have would have done a little bit
Well,
more.
You voted for it, and it passed.
It passed.
It passed, but it was
He
overturned by the
vetoed it.
state.
From the state.
Wow, guys.
So in
this
Orange
is not
County, we
good.
had a rent cap.
So what's the point of us voting then? They're going to overturn it.
Well, that's why
That's
we
why you have
gotta.
to vote and vote until you get the right person in that's going to be
So
really
bring it back on the ballot again.
Yeah, that's really attuned.
And we got to
to
get
your
DeSantis out of here.
concerns.
Yeah, we do.
Well, not just the Sanders.
I thought he was gonna get arrested
it's
for those like those guys he was like shooting over and that were illegals. I thought he was gonna get arrested for that.
No, I figured that he was.
Gotta
Yeah.
get arrested though.
Well, he's been talking about it.
Yeah, I've been talking about it. He did a couple of posts from Truth Social, and I was like,
Yeah.
Today, they throwing some more charges at him and everything. I mean, it's gonna be hard for him to get up out of this tier, you
I
know.
would, man. It would be.
Can you have these
I don't
against
know
someone
now.
and still make it to presidency?
Yes.
Yes.
You can.
I believe
He
it.
could
can go
actually
to
be
jail.
president from jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
That would be the most.
What?
You gotta be kidding
If
me.
we had a, if he
God,
was an actual
America.
president, bro.
Yeah, he could be in
Woo.
prison and still be our president.
But yet, if we got weed,
That'd be
we
wild.
can't get a job.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is
Go
what it
figure, huh?
is.
This is so
But
backwards.
you got to remember now, he said that he could stand in the street and he could shoot someone
Yes,
and no one will do anything.
That is
And
true.
he straight up said it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you know.
Straight in your face.
One more song, you guys, so we got to wrap this party up, man. I mean,
It's getting me
Samuel
angry.
B. Ings is in the building. Our feature mayor.
We appreciate
Of
you so
Orlando,
much.
Florida.
Thank you so much for being with us. We still need this information.
Yeah.
Did you get a new phone, Ennio?
No, same one. It just still looks brand new.
I never grown up to be
Yeah,
so.
you know,
That's good.
I take care of my things.
All right now.
Yeah.
I can tell you're very petite, like very like clean. And I see it.
Thank you. You're only saying that because I shaved today.
Baby face.
Oh man.
So what we're gonna do is, he has great highlights. We're not gonna interrupt. We're gonna let him go through these highlights because it's so important. We gotta get it in right now. So go ahead, Mr. Future
All
Babe,
right.
Samuel Ings.
Well, thank you so much. We were talking about homelessness, and one of the other large areas that involves homelessness is the throwaway teens. Teens that are thrown away. And literally due to family conflicts, a teen cannot get along with the mother or the father, or if it's a single family, can't get along with daddy, can't get along with mother.
Gosh.
And so they end up on the streets, nowhere to go.
Right.
And then there are other teens that just choose to run away because they don't like that family environment. And when they run away for several different reasons. And one is a drug addiction. And many parents don't know that their kids are on drugs.
gosh.
Yeah.
They don't know what's happening. They don't know what's going on.
There's a lot of types of
And
drugs.
another is physical abuse.
Yeah, that's a big one.
They're being chastised or whipped,
Right.
you know, and abused that way. And these kids have to go to school with those kinds of marks all over them, and they don't like looking that way.
Of course.
And
This is horrible.
another is sexual abuse.
Right.
The little girls. And then the other thing, now you mentioned trafficking, but that's a whole nother thing.
This is
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing because little girls are being taken away. Recruited is a good word. Is
Wow.
being taken away and actually seduced. I was trying not to use that word, but they are being seduced out of the home. These kids are jumping out of windows, going out of windows. They're getting cell phones that their parents didn't give them. And so that's the way to keep control of them.
interesting.
Yeah.
They're giving them little money and the makeup and
That's
those
grooming.
dresses.
Grooming, you're right.
And
That's
then
what,
here's
that's what
another
actual
thing.
grooming is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, here's another thing too. Not only the girls, but young boys are being trafficked as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just as much, to tell you the truth, guys.
Well, it's
Oh yes.
not as much, but
No,
a lot.
no,
a lot,
no.
a lot.
It is
a
as
lot.
much.
It's
It
really-
is almost
it's-
50-50.
Yeah, you'll be surprised.
Yes.
That changed over some years. Because it used to didn't be like that. They was after the girls, but now it's sad. They chasing the boy. Right.
I can
How
tell
does
you
human
just
trafficking-
in personal experience. I had a client that his mother was a lady of the night,
Mhm.
and so he grew up seeing that, and he
Right,
ran
right.
away from home, and
He did.
and plenty of times I have gone down Orange Avenue like, what are you doing
Have you
down
seen
here?
him?
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, get off the streets. So he respectable. And
Yeah, it's
But,
hard to break out of these systems
yeah.
once you're like at the bottom of them, right? It's
Right.
not easy to pull yourself up by your imaginary.
But kids
bootstraps.
can't.
No kids.
They are stuck.
Yeah, it's-
And that fear. And the big thing is they put fear in them. And then,
Such big fear that there was a father that killed his 12-year-old recently by beating him up to death. leaving the home, going out of town with the girlfriend and her kids, and he died at the house. He didn't even call 911. He didn't leave the house, and he's 12.
Right.
That's the fear. They're afraid to walk out and,
And
to say something.
ultimately, most of these problems come back to financial stability, right? It's like the more financially stable the family, the less likely you are to fall into any of these pit traps. And of course, like as with most other social issues, it's really just economic issues in disguise. So
well, I made it different on that because you have some people that come from well-to-do households and
Mom and dad.
for sure.
and
But if we're talking about averages and we talk about numbers, it's not even close.
Well,
It's wherever poverty is, crime is, right?
that's
Like-
correct,
like
but
crime
you
is
still
a
have
direct-
a lot of
Sure,
people.
but crime is a direct correlation with poverty. That is the one line that is above
True.
all else. So we need to make sure that people have jobs that pay well, give them dignity, give them the ability to have a good life where they can actually raise a family, raise kids, have a home, have something to look forward to. It cannot just be like, put on the negative side. So of course, I know Mr. Samuelian is going to do his part to make
Right.
sure that all these
I
problems
think
get
we just need
addressed.
to teach them.
And we as
Just
parents,
have-
we have to pay attention to the signs. We have to
Right.
create more family time. So when our kids are watching television, we need to be watching television with them. When they're looking at videos, we need to be paying
Ask
attention
questions.
to those.
Get in there, because I sure do.
Sure.
Because what's so scary now is we allow technology to babysit our kids, and then you find out that your kids are talking to random
crazy,
people.
yes. I asked my kids, is that a real friend or internet friend? And
Right.
they said, I met him online. Get him off. That's not a friend.
And that's what I had to do with my grandkids
Huh.
because I was like, well, who are you talking to?
Okay, but some people do make friends on the internet.
And you're,
I have.
I know you're a grown man.
Yeah,
These are
I
kids that are
agree.
11.
Hold on. No, you guys are seeing this from a different perspective,
You're
from
telling
a
me
different
on your
time.
end that you're a
You guys
grown
are
man.
seeing this from a different time.
We're saying it right now.
No, yeah, from a different age. Like
Yes,
younger
minors.
people 100% do make real friends on the internet. There is just you do have to have education on.
Yeah,
Of course,
you
you gotta
still
protect
still
your
have to
kids.
be
You can't
mindful.
just let them meet
You're
random
gonna
people. That's
groom
not what I'm
them
saying, right?
and let them know
But
the truth.
I am saying that the
Some
internet
of these
is a
people
place where lonely people come together, right? And some kids are gonna find internet friends because they can't make friends with the people that are directly
Well,
around
that's a
them.
problem.
But
then.
it's not always.
it is a problem because if they don't learn social skills at
Exactly.
home,
It's not like that's your own
and then
friends, right?
they're going to
Like,
seek it out.
You gotta
This
think
is
about
this
the
is the
fact
same
that
reason
we
we
just had
have
a whole
human
generation
trafficking.
of kids. Think about the generation of kids that we just had. We just had a whole generation of kids that were locked in their houses during 2 years or more because of this pandemic. They didn't get to go outside, make
But we're
friends.
getting
But
over
sweetheart, I was a
you-
latchkey kid.
That's what I'm
and so,
saying.
you know,
That's what
I
I'm
came
saying.
from the
You're see-
era of
exactly.
latchkey kids, and
Exactly.
we didn't do the
Exactly.
things
You're
that they're
seeing this
doing
from
now.
a different era. You gotta as
No,
parents,
I'm
our
seeing it
parents
from an
are
old school era.
right, but as parents, our job has evolved. It's not enough to just tell them not to make internet friends. We have to be more educated on what the internet is, how to interact with them. Like I had to
That's what we're doing.
I had to teach my 7-year-old daughter about parasocial relationships. Most adults don't even know what that is, right? Do you guys know what that is?
No, but I really want to get into talking
Exactly,
about
and that's it.
Yeah.
That's a relationship that you build with YouTubers because little kids make friends with YouTubers in their minds, right? And they don't even understand that they're doing that as a connection to what they're watching online. So you need to, as a parent, know that.
And that's why
and
they
be able to
stray away and
educate
then
them.
they run away
Right,
and
that's
then
why
they
you need
get
to
in
be able to
trouble and
educate
then
them in that.
then mom
Go
has to
ahead.
come in and
Go-
step in and
go
be the
ahead, Sarah.
bulldog.
It does it,
instead.
because I do.
Yeah.
They need to have more of these commercials out there.
And see, and, that's why, we have to be more vigilant in watching after our kids.
100%.
Because, the sheriff's department, the police departments, they have personnel that go on the computers
Mhm.
to monitor these computers.
Mhm.
Because kids are online with predators.
That's what I'm trying to tell Enyo. It can say he's
Yeah.
12 and this man's like,
Say he's
18.
They just arrested a guy a couple of
Right.
days ago.
I'm trying to tell Enyo this, but he doesn't want to believe it.
I'm
He's like,
not-
the internet, it's okay.
I'm
No, it's not.
Hold on, let Miss Sonia get it in. Go
I
ahead.
didn't say it's
Hold on,
right
wait a
for
minute.
that.
Go ahead, Miss Sonia.
So you have these predators out there,
Yeah,
and they are older than just 18.
for sure.
Mhm.
They're
Yes.
25,
40.
30,
Yes.
and 40 years
Yes.
old, and
This
sometimes
happens,
even
yes.
50 and 60.
Right.
Want to have sex with a 12-year-old,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
13-year-old girl.
That's real.
And
100%
they're,
that's true.
they're
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
computer
Yes, 100%.
communicating with
How to
them.
catch
Yes.
a predator.
And so,
100%.
and so then when the police are now involved and they kind of set them up, and they think they're going to meet that person.
Yes.
And you've seen it.
Chris Hampson.
Even on the
Please take a seat right here.
Yeah. Something.
They just arrested a guy a couple of days ago for this very same
No,
thing.
yeah. I'm not saying this doesn't happen. I just want to put.
Oh, it does.
You just can't be relaxed with your 7-year-old
I'm saying
daughter.
you gotta be knowledgeable of the internet, right? Not just like.
You can't be
So
relaxed.
you gotta be
go on like a bulldog.
not just knowledgeable
No,
of the
that's
internet.
not-
You gotta be knowledgeable of your kids.
That is.
So
Right.
that comes first.
With them, right? It's like you got to be knowledgeable of both, because if you just tell your kid don't go on the internet, they're just gonna go on the
No,
So
internet
can we do
without
things
me
like,
knowing
can we
it.
do things like PSAs like we used to do back in the day when
And
we'll
you
have
know what?
It's 11
We should
o'clock.
do
Do
that.
you know where your kids
Yes.
are?
Yes.
And you are absolutely right. And that's the
Right.
thing that I have been saying for the longest.
Huh.
We need to do PSAs.
I agree.
Even for crossing the streets.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree
Even for
hard.
crossing the streets. Because
Internet knowledge
see, the
PSAs.
traffic, the car, they are big and they are bullying people, and especially pedestrians that are
Right.
trying to cross in the crosswalk.
You gotta play
yeah,
Frogger.
See,
Yes, you do.
Because they can't see below like the engine truck.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
bro.
even if you look at a crosswalk, we're gonna run.
Yeah.
even
Yeah. I wouldn't just walk across.
in the
Yeah.
crosswalks.
Yeah.
The
It's
vehicle
dangerous.
don't. In New York, you cannot turn right on red
Oh,
Right.
really?
At all.
at
Yeah.
all.
Right.
I said
I
in
didn't know
City Council, we need to adopt that here in the state of Florida.
Could you do something about making Orlando more walkable?
Because we're
That's
number
what we're talking
yeah,
and-
we're number one for pedestrian
Right.
kills.
That's right.
In
That's
the
Number-
country.
Really?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, I don't.
Brutal.
So you girl know some. Listen to me sometimes. I'm just
That's why we do have to listen to our women.
I heard.
Most
Because I'm a huge advocate on kids and young people. I lose my mind. I research. I thought the PSAs, like even Peace on the Streets, we could do
Yes.
a TV PSA.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if you will become mayor,
Yes.
please work with us to do
Let's
PSAs.
do it
We're
together.
with it.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Let's do it
big.
together.
That's big. You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
I'm
Let's do it
so into. I'm down
And
for
we
it.
keep coming up with great things
Yeah.
for Peace on the Streets.
Not
So
just-
I am with you 1,000%.
Love to hear it.
So voters, it's up to you guys. You guys got to get out and vote as well. You know what I'm saying? We can bring amazing people on all day, every Wednesday, but you guys got to listen to what we're saying and go out and vote, and then look him up and find out the things that he does in the community, and stop just giving our vote away. A lot of times we just, it's a person, we just give our vote away. No. Hey, check that person out.
Yeah,
Well, you know what's the most
Make it
disheartening
count.
thing
Make it count.
is when someone says that's what they do, that's what they always do. Because you let them.
Right.
So we got to stop letting them do things to us and
Right.
take charge of our own lives.
We have
because
the
we have
power.
to put people in there. That's why I tell you, your vote is the most powerful thing that you have.
Right.
You are the CEO. If you never own a business, this is the only business that you
Yes.
own. Yeah, you hire
That's right.
and fire the people that you want. And right now, we're just allowing the insane to run us
Everything.
out.
Because there's power in numbers, right? And when people get
yes.
together and they make a change, like
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
broken relationships.
Broken relationships, and what we have to do is make sure that we repair relationships between the parents and the children, even within the
Ooh.
household.
Mm.
So that's where the counseling comes into play. And that's why I say I have a comprehensive plan. And I can't give that whole plan as to what it is, but it is going to be comprehensive, and it will encourage all of us to come together, because we have to introduce these homelessness people back to their homes.
Yes.
Right.
We have to make them whole again. The church needs to be involved in this as well as part of the counseling, because the church have counseling sessions that they do and that they have that can help these people. So
So we're here to build families stronger.
to make them stronger,
Come on.
healthier, and
So
wise,
That's
so
right.
that they can get back into society. And we need to clean our streets, not just plucking people up, but putting them in programs that's going to help them. If
Yes.
there's a mental illness issue, then let's help them with mental illness.
A lot of the
If there's a
times,
drug addiction problem, let's help them with drug addiction.
I see when they go into the system, it's unaffordable for them to get to counseling, so they don't have that option.
And that's why we have to have programs in place that will help pay for those options.
Yes.
And that's what's important.
Then that's very hard to
There are a lot
find.
of nonprofits that are out there, but they need funding. They need funding. They're doing so much more than what some of your hospitals are even doing, and a lot cheaper.
Every year we lose 3 beds in mental health because it's so poorly funded.
Wow.
And when they're doing the budget, that's one of the first things they cut.
That's the first thing. Even though all the things are going on with guns, mental health, their relation at times, they're still taking out the mental health, to try to.
Every year.
I don't understand. And that does lead to the violence and the crime.
Right. So we need to set priorities. And the priority number 1 is to take care of our homeless people and their families and their pets.
Yeah.
Because the pets are out there in the heat too.
Yes, they are.
They're in the heat.
I wonder,
They're suffering.
how do they have a pet in the street and they can't even feed themselves?
They have a pet.
Well, they can.
How are they gonna feed the animal?
People love their
They'd rather feed the animal than feed themselves.
But there are some agencies when if you were going to Pathways to Care, they'll give you a shower and they'll give you some clothing and they'll give you some food. They'll also give pet food. So
oh wow.
So you do have some shelters or resource centers for the homeless that when you have a pet, people do donate food for their animals.
Interesting. This is awesome. So I know that Prince, we got to wrap it up to this session. But is there anything else that you want to relate to our listeners on air? We have 100,000 listeners right now listening to you. So anything, any other highlights or anything else you want to release to our audience right now?
Well, what I would want to say to our listeners is thank you so much for listening. And this is very important. Now exercise your right to vote. So on November 7th, 2023 is the time to vote for mayor for the city of Orlando, and that's Samuel B. Eames.
Come on.
So vote Samuel B. Eames, mayor of the city of Orlando, November 7th, 2023.
That's right.
A better Orlando is my promise.
November 7th, guys, we are going to tell you
Oh, and
everything.
one more thing when you're talking about voting, because of the new laws that have changed, if you vote by mail, you must register every election cycle. So your vote by mail ballot is not going to come in the mail if you've not requested it already.
Right.
So make sure you request your vote by mail so that you can mark Samuel B. Eames.
Mm-hmm.
And the cards are out already.
I don't trust them, so I'm going to go in person.
I go in person,
Do what you gotta
but
do.
you do have people that believe in vote by mail.
Yeah.
So if
Some
they
can't
are, please make sure that you request your ballot for this election cycle, because what was in the past is null and void.
You hear that, guys?
That's good to know.
This is why we
That
need
is
you
very
guys
good to
here. So you're going to be in our life.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We're here together now.
Yeah, we in it.
Sam, I am.
Come on!
And the thing is, if you don't get out and vote, then you can't complain. You can't complain.
I don't know.
You
And
know.
especially for our generation, we want to make a change for the youth and the younger people. And we just have so much knowledge and seen so many things, we know who to go to now. And so, we have to vote, guys. This is why we're here. This is why we have them here. And by the way, he's going to produce a couple of commercial ads. So you're going to hear Mr. Samuel Hayes right now on Peace on the Streets throughout all the way through November. Is where you're going to hear his ads. So you're going to get the information. You're going to know how to contact him. You're going to know how to vote. So tune in, guys. He's not
And
going
donate.
anywhere. And donate. Listen. You can't make this possible without the fundings.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs the fundings to make a
That's
move.
right.
And they're taking the fundings from us.
How can we donate?
How can you
Well,
donate?
you can actually go online, www.eamesfororlandomayor.com.
Nice.
And then you can also send a check or money order to Samuel B. Eames Campaign, P.O. Box 551306, Orlando, Florida, 32855. So you've got a couple ways that you can actually donate.
Awesome.
And then also check me out on Facebook too and like me.
There you go.
I gotta get your face.
Yeah.
So we must. Thank you for that information. I'm gonna ask you that later again because I want to put it on our post, so we have others that understand and can see it and donate. But think again, we get so excited when we have. I'm not gonna say politicians because sometimes that word we cringe, right? Is it because what we've seen? We're like, ugh.
Well, that's because there are politicians and there are advocates.
Yeah, there you
That's-
go.
Hey,
And I like the advocate part, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just so more genuine and it's just really about the people.
Yeah,
So again, we love to have advocates here at Peace on the
we
Streets
sure do.
that can release this information to the people. We love a change. We see a value. If we don't see a value, we won't work with it. So
Right.
thank you so much for being with us.
And thank you for having me. It's my pleasure, my honor, and I am not going anywhere.
Come on.
Let's go.
Yeah! ladies and
and we
gentlemen.
can't wait to have him back in when he's the mayor of Orlando,
Oh,
Florida.
man.
Well, Prince, we got to do this barbecue sometime in September or October,
We gotta.
where we invite the community in,
Oh, yes.
and we give them hot dogs, and you take care of the other barbecue stuff, so that we can show that Peace on the Street
Come on.
is for real.
Yeah, we're going to wear our shirts.
Hey, we're not just in the studio. We're out on the street.
We're
That's
on
what
the
I'm
street.
talking
That's right. We're out in the street.
We're trying to be on the streets.
This is what
For
it is.
real.
We literally are now.
And thank you all for tuning in to Peace on the Streets with our guy Samuel B. Eames.
That's right. Our
Right
future
here on
mayor.
Peace on the
Future
Streets.
mayor, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Come on.
That's right, y'all.
You already know with sports talk, and just to kick it off, I know Isaac brought this up a little while ago with his highlights, but the NFL franchise tag deadline was on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and a lot of people were pretty upset about what happened because 3 top running backs in the league, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard, were 3 that did not get new contracts.
Wait, for the Cowboys?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Pollard.
Pollard.
Pollard. He didn't get.
No,
he
he
didn't
did
get
not get a new contract
And
or a
Barkley?
franchise tag, and the reasons behind it are very political. But I would want to know your feelings on it if you know all the news and issues that are coming out.
Well, what they're saying is that running backs, they don't value the running backs no more. They want to throw the ball in the air. All receivers and players and big playmakers, they got contracts. They got new contracts, but they just ditched the running backs this year for some reason. But they took care of all the wide receivers. So what they're saying is that with wide receivers, it's more exciting or whatever. But you got to, in order for your passing game to be right, you have to have a
Preach.
running game.
Preach.
That opens up your
Come
passing
on.
game. And then Barkley is one of the best. Pollard is one of the best. And man, they didn't get him a contract.
And it's insane to me because when you look at all the teams that have won in Super Bowl history, except for the Kansas City Chiefs because of this great quarterback that we've seen in the making in Patrick Mahomes, and he looks like a young Tom Brady that can actually run the ball.
Right.
But everything else, when it comes to the running backs, every single team in Super Bowl history has had a great running back to take them to the promised
That's right.
land. And these owners, these GMs, they're treating running backs like they're just robots out there.
Wow.
These guys are
Right.
human beings that they're putting their bodies, their
Yes.
souls, and initially their lives
Yes.
on the line. And you don't want to pay them because yeah, it's wear and tear after 5 years. You know, we just let this running back go. We'll let him play to his rookie contract, and we'll just draft another rookie in the draft. But these guys are human, bro. You guys got to give them at least some sort of incentive for them to keep going and keep playing. I'm not upset at these running backs because some of them might hold out and might play in the preseason, regular season, or obviously in the playoffs if they don't play the regular season. If they hold out, fans should not be upset, especially fantasy football fans, because I know they would want to draft some of these running backs for their teams. They shouldn't be upset. They should be upset at the owners because they
Yes.
don't want to pay these human beings who putting their lives on the line.
Yeah.
And them boys, they go
All
through a
day,
lot.
every day.
They're a running, and they say the lives of a running back is 4 or 5
Damn.
years.
It's too quick. It's too quick.
Yeah, because what happened? You the running back. You
All the
get beat
time.
up a
And
lot.
it's a lifestyle though. Like they're always physically training. They're always practicing, and they get hit at practice. It's
Exactly.
constantly.
Exactly. And with the owners from the business side, I understand that aspect of it, of the business. You don't want to pay someone who might get injured the next game, the next mid-season, the next year. But when you sleep at night, when you put your head on the pillow, like, are you being humane? Like, these guys are giving everything that you need for your business to be successful and gain more money, because if you go to the Super Bowl, you get more money. There's a bonus. If you don't know that, there's always a bonus when you go to the playoffs, or you get a certain amount of wins, or you go to the Super Bowl, there's a bonus. So if you're not gonna be a good friend, for instance, and give this person, you know what, you're doing a lot for me, you're bringing me billions of dollars, you know what, I'm gonna just give you a little change and hopefully change your life.
Right, because you're helping us get there.
Exactly.
And you need them to help us get there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So who else gonna get the hit? Someone's gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? That's discouraging and mind-blowing and selfish.
It is. It is. But most of these owners are like that. But we'll just move on from there.
Trust me.
Yeah. 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins signs a 2-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. In his first year, he might get $15 million.
Wow.
Prince, how you feeling about that?
I'm loving it.
You loving it?
I'm loving it going to Tennessee, because that's what we needed. Because the only thing we had back there was that beast back there, Henry.
Yeah.
The running back Henry. So now we got Hopkins, and I am so happy. Now it opens us up. We got a running game. Now we got a passing game. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm very happy about it.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Go
for a Tennessee fan, for sure, you love that.
Oh, we just got to get our quarterback on the same page.
That's the problem, though. That's why I was asking myself, why would he sign there? Because you don't know who your quarterback is right now, right?
Right. Exactly.
Willis, Will Levy,
they say
maybe Tannehill.
Yeah, Tannehill probably going to be it. But,
it should, because
I thought he was going to go out there to Baltimore.
To Baltimore, that would have been a good team for him.
Yeah, because because that's what he needs is a wide receiver. No, they fired him from Baltimore, right?
No, he didn't.
Who was that wide receiver that Baltimore let go, and the quarterback was pissed off? It was Hopkins.
No, I forgot the name of that wide receiver, but I know exactly who you're talking about. I think it was Hollywood Brown that he went to the Arizona Cardinals where Hopkins was playing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I was looking at it because I saw Hopkins on a podcast, and he was talking about that he wanted to go to a team that had 3 things. 1, that was a contender to win a Super Bowl. 2, a team that had a great front office, so he had no problems with the GM or anybody that works in the front office, those employees. And 3, that had an amazing quarterback that can throw him the ball to give him 150 targets like he's been having in the last few seasons.
Yeah.
So I know you're a Tennessee fan. I don't want to. I don't want to break the Tennessee fans.
But I understand what you're saying.
I was conflicted on why he chose the Titans if he's talking about that he wants these 3 things, because 1, like we just talked about, the quarterback situation is up for grabs right now.
Right.
2, their front office, it's okay, but they let go a lot of players in the last few seasons that how do you know that they're going to be good to you? Obviously, now with this contract, they're going to be good to you, but what if they want to trade you off later on? And then 3, you're talking about a team that's going to be a contender. Tennessee went from being a contender 2 years ago to just dropping down. You know what I'm saying?
Because they needed help.
Yes.
Because what happens, everybody's stacking the line on Henry and saying, hey, run the ball. We got 10 people in the box. You just hard to run the ball when everybody's targeting you. So now they got someone that hopefully that they can open it up for him. So I'm kind of excited. But my thing was with the quarterback. I'm like, who's going to be our quarterback?
Yes, exactly. I hope for you guys, I really hope that Will Levis can prove to be that quarterback for you guys, because I think he can be. Even Malik Willis, I like Malik Willis a lot too. From what I saw from him last year, he looked a little unprepared and scared.
He looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, he looked uncomfortable.
But see, that comes with playing time.
Yeah.
True. And see, that's what you get better. And a lot of times guys don't get better because they're not getting playing time. Playing time, putting you out there in the heat, then you become better. But it's hard to be a bench rider. Then, now when you get in, you're nervous. A lot is going through your mind. All eyes are on me to carry the team, and I really ain't been carrying the team. And think about NFL players, they saying that everybody's fast. everybody's good. So in order to be able to make them pass and make them runs, man, you got to be special, you know. So
to get there is like 0 out of a million.
Yeah, like you
know.
said last week, 1%.
Yeah,
It's the same thing with the
lost my
NBA.
mind. Yeah. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it literally is.
Jeez.
No, in the NFL, it's all about, well, just like the NBA too, it's all about size and speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're abnormal to be there.
Yeah, you gotta be that 1% for sure. But jumping into the NBA, last week we didn't really get into this, but I would like to know your guys' opinions on this. There's 2 rules that the NBA changed last week. The first rule is that a second coach's challenge would be given to the coach or team that wins their first coach's challenge. So the team that uses their first challenge, if they win it, they'll get a second challenge during the game.
Okay.
You have any thoughts on that before I move on to the next one?
Oh my goodness, man. So if you don't win it, then you don't get another challenge.
I don't know
Okay.
about this.
Yeah, I think it should be 1 in the first half and 1 in the second
Right,
half.
right.
I'll
Correct.
make as many challenges as I need.
Yes.
Because you
at
might
least.
be making bad
That's why I don't agree
mistakes.
with that.
But what happens, it shows up the referees if you do too many. That the referee's making too many mistakes. So that's what they
But
probably
they're
don't
human.
want to do.
They're gonna make mistakes.
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
I think I like that idea. Having 1 in the first half and 1 in the second
Yeah.
half. Why?
Exactly.
Because you're not
Yeah.
gonna run it, and I get that. Because then you just stop in the game all the time. But that
Yeah.
makes sense. And really interesting. That's the rules now. Done.
Yeah, that's one of the rules that they changed. And then the second rule is that there will be an in-game flopping penalty. If a player flops, he will be given a technical foul, and the opposing team will shoot 1 free throw.
Good.
Right?
It's a
I
good
think
Yeah.
that's great.
Because they
I think it's great.
Let me say this. When I went back in the day, when I was the first time I ever seen someone flop in my entire life, like constantly, was Boston Celtics, was Rondo. And when I
Yeah.
watched
Oh,
him,
for sure.
he flopped so much, and I was like, why is this legal in the game? I was so
Yeah.
sick of his card being
So that's the first person you thought of with that.
That's it.
Prince, who's the
Go
first
with it.
person that comes to your mind, except for Rondo?
And LeBron.
What do you think about
I'm
that?
just saying.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna go with LeBron.
Yo,
He don't
LeBron's
flop a
face,
lot.
he's always crying.
I'm a big time LeBron fan.
Me
but
too.
He does flop.
Yeah,
he
but
cries
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you who was the biggest crybaby. Michael Jordan.
Interesting.
Oh,
He
okay.
stayed crying. Get on that
Did he
court,
flop
Mike.
though? He was a very like
No,
passionate
it
player.
really wasn't
Before
a lot of
flopping was
flopping.
invented,
Yeah,
maybe.
really.
It was, but
It really
he
was
cried
before.
a lot. Him and Kobe.
But they didn't flop. They're not floppers.
No, I'm just saying they were crybabies.
I mean, because they're passionate about the game. They're winners. They're actually like really not winners.
Yeah.
So I
It
get
wasn't too
that.
many. Like Jordan and what you call, but they crybabies. They cry
I
a
can
lot.
deal with that. The flopping drives me insane.
Oh, mine
I'm
too,
like, there he
man.
goes again.
There they go.
And nobody's calling it. How did I see this?
I'm gonna tell you flopped a lot too. Dennis Rodman.
Dennis
Okay.
Rodman, you think so?
Dennis Rodman. Oh man,
Okay.
Dennis flopped all the time. You bump him, there you go. Acting crazy.
He
You know
did
what I'm
it.
saying?
He did it before it was invented.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Dennis Rodman was the #1 flopper.
Oh, man.
Because Dennis Rodman always played against guys that was twice his size. And so, you know what I'm saying? And he did a lot of flops.
So now they're saying that's not going to happen. That's going to be a technical. Is
That's
it?
going to be a technical foul if they catch it, because
If they
obviously
catch
there's going to be referees that like don't really pay attention to that, but now they're going to try, since they're implementing it now, they're going to try and pay attention to that more.
Can they challenge this? Like, can a coach challenge like flopping? Like flop?
That is a good question.
Come on!
That is a good
I know I would.
question.
I'll be yelling at the coach. Flop.
No. Hold on. Challenge.
So hey, maybe that'll work
Yeah, that'd
then.
be a good question for
Okay.
you. Yeah, the first person that comes to my mind when I think about that is James Harden or Kyle. If you see James Harden just going on the floor and he tries to pick up one of those balls, he
Yeah.
just goes like that, trying to put up a layup.
I can't stand that.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my
They
god.
don't even get touched and they flop.
Come on, dude, just get up.
They might challenge that. I really like to see this how this play off. 'Cause
Yes.
It's finally.
Yeah, it's been going on for too long.
So
I
long.
think like the early 2010s.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
literally
right.
all got away with it. It's like
Yeah.
how we all see it ourselves. They do instant replay and still get touches.
Oh my god. And then for the last thing, because there's not a lot of really big time things that are going on in sports right now, but big announcement is that Lionel Messi
Come on.
remains on track to make his Inter Miami debut on Friday.
Woo, Friday, Miami!
Messi.
Yo, did you see how they I gotta say, I was blown away. Did you see how they welcomed SWV.
Oh, yeah, and that's what we're talking about, artists. Please bring back the sing-alongs. You know, we are missing good music. Bing bang. I mean,
listen to the sportscast, buddy.
This is Sportscast by George Michael.
I respect it.
So I ran across a guy today, well, it was yesterday really, and he was talking about if you die, when you die, you're going to be caught up with you'll be able to have your 9 virgins.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. My thing is where they keeping these virgins in heaven?
And how are they virgins at like 40?
And why would you want them anyway?
Yeah. but they said, yeah.
Like, I don't remember. I mean, I was a kid last time, I messed with any of that. And I got to tell you, if I was 32 running into that, I'd be like, man.
Would you guys be upset if they're virgins at like 30-something years
It'd
old?
be
Well, I'm just saying, can we do I get a chance to pick my virgins? I mean, how's this thing going?
I think they're arranged for you.
Why would you want
it's
a
arranged.
virgin?
That's my question.
At our age. Because
Yeah.
I would think that I'm the youngest one here, but still, why would you want a virgin at that age?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But my thing is when you die, I thought you have what type of body we gonna have? What we gonna be doing? Nobody explains to us if you go to heaven, what we gonna be doing? I mean, what
I don't think we're a physical form. I think we're just spirit. I mean, teachers on how they feel about
But
it.
then
depends who
people
you ask.
say,
Yeah.
but people say,
Gliding
remember,
everywhere.
Yeah.
we're gonna be
just your
walking.
aura.
We're gonna be walking the streets of gold to where?
I
mean,
think
where we going?
like my buddies are Jehovah's
Chris is like, you'll tell me the story. How's this work?
Where we going?
Are we going to be floating on Earth
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
No, I want to be on another planet.
I just feel like your aura is there. You know what I mean? And that's that.
Because we are spirit beings living in a body.
Yes, we
Do
are.
we get a
The
new
vessel.
body? I mean, if I'm going to be with 9 virgins, I got to
Yes.
have a body. Right?
Ah.
Somebody better be 6'4",
Yeah.
235
With
with a straight back.
Do I get a chance to pick the body that I'm in? But see, when you
That's a
start
good question.
asking to religious people this, guess what they'll start saying? You don't supposed to question God. But no, but things are being told to me. I need to be able to question it. You said I'm going to have 9 virgins.
Is this in the Bible?
Am I going to? Yeah. Well,
Quran.
Is
Oh, is it in the Quran?
Is God a dictator?
Got
Like,
it.
we can't ask questions? Is he a communist? Because
I think you can ask questions.
That's
You can't ask questions.
But
No.
back in the days, elderly people didn't let you ask questions.
Right.
And when I was coming up, I couldn't ask mom. Like my kids, they used to kind of ask me questions to a certain extent, and then I said, "Stay in the child's place." But back then, but the way grown folks was raised back then, you didn't question nothing. You didn't
Right.
question God. You didn't question. But I'm not questioning God. I'm questioning the messenger that bought it.
Right.
But God, you know what I'm saying? That's who I'm questioning. You, if you preach that.
What does it say in the
That's
Quran?
fair.
Does it say physical form?
I don't know. I'm not a
But
Quran expert.
I really
I'm not
love
Muslim
religion.
myself,
but-
Well, not religion.
I just
faith.
speaking with logic though, if I'm talking, let's say you're God, and
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, and you're telling me one thing, and I'm there thinking the whole time, and if I don't have a mind for myself, and I'm not asking you a question, then what really am I? Am I really a human being with free will,
Right.
or am I your servant that's here on Earth?
And
I mean,
do you get the
that's-
virgins when you kill yourself? Because they do
Yeah,
suicide
yeah.
stuff.
It's jihad, which
Right.
jihad is like you're dying for a noble cause. It's kind of like a similar idea to like the what's it called when the Christians went and invaded Jerusalem and stuff, the Crusades.
Okay.
The Crusades. Yeah, it's a similar idea to that where you're basically a warrior for God, and
Got it.
therefore you're doing
That's your
something good.
reward.
Got
So
it.
you will be
Isn't it?
rewarded.
But you said 71 virgins.
Yeah,
Wow,
72.
71.
72.
Why that number?
I don't know. But
So
there's a
how
lot of
many-
weird. There's a lot of
How
weird
do you
stuff
come
in
up
all
with that number,
religions,
first of
you
all?
know what I mean? Like,
That man must have came up with this.
How about if
religious
it's a
got this funky
million men
thing.
that
It
died
does.
because
You
of
know
that?
what I mean?
So you mean to tell me there's 72 million virgins running around heaven? I mean, what we get
So,
these
so did a
virgins at?
man write this Quran?
What's so good about
Well,
virgins,
it-
anyways?
it's
Like
got-
you
it's
can't
got-
even create life.
is
being a virgin.
God a man? That's always, I think, something.
A spirit.
Is it a man, a woman,
specimen?
A spirit.
neither?
An
You
animal.
know, like, because I've always thought it was weird
alien?
to think that a god would be either a man or a woman. It feels a little limiting. You know what I mean? Like,
Wouldn't he like shapeshift?
does he have a thing? Does he stand
Well,
up?
well,
Or does he
I
sit
know-
He
down?
eat everything at
Does
once.
he do the thing?
I know
don't
in the
think so.
Bible
That
it
doesn't
said
make
that
sense, right?
they
Like-
created us as similar to him.
Yeah, in their image.
Just saying.
And so what
What if
happened
it's
when
both,
God
right?
was
What if you
creating
like
man?
mix both and you get some kind of thing like that? That's how you split, right? And it's like,
He said we're made in God's image.
but we look real different.
Yeah.
I look different from you. You look different from me.
We look. You and
I
me,
mean,
Prince,
me
are
and you're
real
a Cuban. We
different.
kind of look the
Yeah,
same.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah, Prince. Damn.
maybe our spirit
Hey, Prince,
being.
you good looking, bro.
Maybe it's our spirit being that looks like him or whatever, you know.
It would be cool.
It could
But
be.
you know, I think it's because he is a spirit. Because we are spirit in the body. You know, that's why he's everywhere at one time. That's what it says.
That would
he's a
make
spirit.
more sense though, like a soul.
Yeah.
Like if we're implements of him as a soul, that would make
Yeah,
more
soul.
sense.
And we just can't
Aura.
see it.
Yeah.
That's why it says you must live life to your fullest and live it right, so your righteousness can grow and maybe it can expand. Maybe you can come back to something else. You know what I mean? But it will stay. It will remain. You won't just perish.
And so, like this here, when people say that killers, someone that killed kids or whatever, will they go to heaven? They still have a chance because
They do.
because guess what?
In my book, no.
You got what's in the Bible. It says, "I'm with you if you make your
Mimi's
bed."
personal heaven. It's like set aside.
Mimi's
Absolutely.
None of the
Well,
killers get in
see,
there.
check this out.
Nope.
Well, if you he said, if you make your bed in heaven, if you make your bed in hell, I'm there. Because, for instance, if I kill somebody, I'm finna get judged by the land. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm finna get karma. So he was like, I do forgive you, but it's consequences, repercussions of the things that we do.
Maybe
So-
they give him like 5 minutes in hell. You know what I mean? Like a timeout in hell. You get like a
Yeah,
couple
no,
years
I
out
gotta
there
think
until you
about
learn
it.
your lesson.
You know,
You come back up.
the hell thing, I
So
kind of
people do it.
question
There's
that
this-
sometimes.
There's this book that I listened to. I forgot the name of it, but this guy, he basically created a whole 3-4 chapters on how he had an interview, like how we're doing right now,
Yeah.
with the devil. And the devil talks about how there is no hell. Hell is on earth.
That is it.
Yeah.
And the Bible, it does relate to, this is hell, guys. Earth is hell.
Right, and
Just saying.
and then it says
That's our hell.
Heaven
So there's nothing else,
comes.
just heaven.
Heaven comes to earth. When people they say it's gonna be a new heaven and a new
Right.
earth.
This is hell that we're living in. I'm sorry to tell you guys.
Great.
That sounds awful. I don't like
I know.
Erase that.
Yeah,
Take it off the board.
I'm not signing up for that one. I'm sorry. I'm vetoing
Rip the
that one.
contract.
Yeah, that doesn't
I don't
sound
care how
like a
much you
plan.
pay me.
When you
I
was
feel like it's too defeatist, right? If this is hell, then we have no control. We have
No, we
no
don't, but it is.
chance of making it better. Then what's everything we're doing? Why are we on there? Because
I
I'm
think
trying
that-
to make it better.
Well, only thing you do for Christ, only thing that's gonna last anyway. What you doing? Okay, like you done help somebody out of a bad situation.
But we do
or whatever.
help people in their lives. Like each and every one of us has helped someone in their life. And Peace on the Streets is literally changing lives. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
right? I want to make a right.
You
We're
wanna
trying to
make-
make
yeah.
huge changes,
Word.
right? Like I
Word.
want to, get homeless people out of the streets.
Come
I
on.
want to do things like that
But
that
we
really
work
matter.
with people that have the capability of making it happen.
So I don't think like hell on earth would be a.
you don't want to say
you know,
no.
it's-
what I mean? Like,
Hey,
it's
just like,
funny
no,
that
no.
because I'm instantly giving up, right? If this is hell on earth, I'm instantly quitting.
Let's
I'm
not
gonna
say
go
that
do
then.
some drugs on the street,
Let's not say that.
and we're
It's-
chilling then.
It's funny that you say that because you're talking about something that you already know that what you want to do, right? In that same interview, the devil talks about the people that he can control are the people that are undecided with what they want to do in life.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean
That's well said. That's real.
That's crazy. Yeah,
I'm gonna look up the book later when we're offshore.
So
I'm gonna send it to you so you could listen to it. It was
Please do.
crazy.
I would love
One of
to
my
hear
best
this.
friends, he sent it to me.
Yes.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Come on.
I listened to it and I was like, wow, a lot of things like opened up my mind on like
I love it.
how to be,
It's a very
like,
interesting-
how to live, basically.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of crazy things going on. From my point of view, it's a little different. Because I'm not religious. Like, I don't actually believe in God. Like, I've never said
Okay.
this on air. Like, everybody else here, I've shared.
Hey,
it
we gotta
behind-
respect your
behind-
opinion, bro.
But the same way, I mean, whenever someone's praying here or something, I'm not gonna be like, "Pff, that's silly." You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I would
exactly.
never disrespect people
Of
because at
course.
the end of the day, it's like there may be, there may not be. I don't particularly know. And at the end of the day, you're not gonna lose any sleep by being respectful of other people's opinion,
right?
Because I could be wrong, right? I'm wrong about things all the time, right? I'm wrong on a daily basis. You know what
That's
I mean?
what I
Like,
love about Peace on the Streets, because we're open to absolutely everyone. Any, I don't say religion, but anything you believe in, because religion's made by man.
Yeah.
But anything that you believe in, even if you don't have that,
yeah.
we still, it's the energy, it's the positivity,
Right.
it's the showcasing greatness.
That's how the world
Yeah,
should.
of course.
That's how the
Absolutely,
world
right.
Yeah.
And we do it here.
Especially in this country.
And this is a Christian-based station.
Right.
It's
You know what I mean?
crazy.
And we still show that love. That's changing the game right there.
Absolutely.
They're losing their values. And when you lose your
it's kind
values,
of nice for me.
standards.
You know what I mean? I kind of enjoy that. I don't like that.
So
I don't like being forced to like pray in the morning and to say in God we trust and
I went there. It was mind blowing how they do the rituals and ceremonies, and I have deja vu. And what they, I'm like, oh shit, I said this before. And what they believe, and it's about better human being, better standards of being the best person you could be, supporting your family, loving. And they said if you do well, you could come back. To greatness.
That's
because your spirit is great. So it made sense to me. I didn't go against that either. It could be possible.
Exactly.
So I'm open-minded that. But the fact is that they all do have being a better person, having great values and standards.
That's the main thing. It's like every religion has something we could learn from and become better at.
Yes.
You have to be open-minded. That's what the world's messed up with.
I would consider myself personally to know and practice more of Jesus' beliefs than like 70% of Christians that I've met. People say they're Christian, they say they believe in God, but they hate the homeless, they hate immigrants, they hate this.
Come on.
And that's not of God.
You forgot the point here. Here's the point. Here's you somewhere over here.
Not forgiving. You know what I'm saying? You do know you can't even ask God to forgive you if you can't forgive.
Right.
Come on.
If you, I mean, that don't even make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, hey, I don't forgive nobody, but Lord, you forgive me.
Lord, help me.
You're praying right before you go to sleep.
You'll never help nobody in your life.
I ain't never helped nobody in our life. But this been Peace on the Street segment, you guys, where we get real and we able to talk and we respect everybody's opinion.
Sure.
And you know what I'm saying? Because we don't, everybody come from different backgrounds and where they was raised. So what we do is, the gospel is not to be argued with. Some people when Neo said he don't believe, oh man, some Christian would argue. Oh my God.
Take him off the piece. He's here He's here
He's going straight to hell.
I've had a few friends on that.
He holds the cord.
Sorry. I am the cord holder.
That's what I don't like. That's why I don't really go for religion itself, made by men, but I go for the faith of it. Because I had transgenders friends that were on air, and when I had like the Christian-based friends, they wanted me to cut them off air. And that's what I'm like, that's mind-blowing to me. Because they're human beings. You know what I mean? So that means you really don't have that love.
Yeah.
And how you catering to love to the people, like you are a hypocrite.
Selfish.
And they're never going to go to God with you.
Love.
You know what I mean? Like they're
Right,
never going to see this. So that's why I say faith. You know what I mean? Just a great person. By the way, I don't want to change the subject, but I want to talk quickly about George Michael, about the movie that got released. I want you to talk to people about this.
Oh my God, this new movie that got released either a week ago or 2 weeks ago. My fiance went to go watch it on Saturday. It's called Sounds of Freedom. If you've not heard about it, it's because they're not promoting this movie. This movie should have came out 5 years ago.
5 years.
It came out 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whichever it was. This movie is on child trafficking, and a warning: it will be
Brutal.
it will be brutal at first. It will get you angry. It will get you depressed. But at the end of the movie, it shows you a little bit of hope. I'm not gonna discourage it all. It's a movie that you have to go watch. It helps. The purchase of the ticket helps with child trafficking in a positive way of stopping this. And just to talk about the movie itself without ruining anything, it's a very powerful movie, but yes, it will get you depressed. This movie is a must-watch.
It's like a documentary, or like
No, it's a
Straight
movie.
movie.
It's based on real life events.
It's based on a true story about the main character in the movie. I forgot the actor's name, and I don't want to butcher his name. But the main character in the movie is based off of this real life guy that he went and tried to help save these kids, and he did. He succeeded, but there's so much of it going on in the world that it's just a one small pebble of a positive story compared to so many negative stories out there that it's just it's
that are never
unraveling.
Is this in the States?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out
In
right
the
now.
States, in other countries.
So it's released about America and other countries, or just based
The
in
movie
America?
is based off America in the beginning, and then it goes into Colombia and Cartagena, and then it goes into the wild, the forest of Colombia. Really.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's very
What's the name of the movie?
Sounds of Freedom. Sounds of Freedom.
It's out in theaters right now, and the
Yes,
reason
there will be some movie theaters that will not let you watch it. They will make the excuses that they won't let you watch it. On Saturday,
Interesting.
we were supposed to watch it Saturday, right?
Okay.
There was no movie times. There was no movie sale.
No way.
Yes. So we went on Sunday, and there was only 3 showings going on throughout the whole day. And it's a new movie that got released. When there's a new movie that got released, every 30 minutes there should be a new movie.
Absolutely. Why do you think they're stopping us?
Well,
Because-
it's a smaller film as well, right? It's like
Independent?
Yeah, the whole budget was $15 million.
Yeah, it wasn't a big time
So they
for
don't,
sure.
yeah, it's not a major blockbuster. It's not
Okay.
from Lionsgate or Universal
Yeah,
or Sony or anything like that.
correct.
Why do you think they're stopping us, though, Enyo?
I don't think there's so much stopping. It's just that there's not as much,
Thief.
just not as much money behind it, right? Because
There's no promotion behind
yeah,
it.
there's no
promotion.
just not as
They
much
might not
money
have the
behind
money
it.
for
But they found a great marketing angle. It's a great time to release
Interesting.
that movie. You know what I mean? It's like by releasing it right now, where like attention to human trafficking is so high, and we have the Epstein case that just came out, and Ghislaine Maxwell and all this. It's a perfect time for a movie like this to come out. And ultimately, if it's gonna help some people open their eyes about human trafficking, then that's always a good thing. The only cautionary thing that I have with this movie is like a lot of experts have come in and said that when you go watch this movie, you expect human trafficking to look like this, and you expect human trafficking to look like Taken. And then, most human trafficking, as we had spoken about before, is just family and friends that convince teenagers to go do sex work and to go do labor. And whenever a jury comes to a trial in a real life, and they just see oh, this person just got talked into it, that's not really human trafficking. The person that human trafficked them often gets away. Like human trafficking cases are actually very hard to nail down.
It's hard to identify.
Yeah, because people come in with the expectation of Taken, of movies like this, right? They expect you to come in, get you in a burlap sack, transport you to Cartagena, and disappear you, and that's what they think human trafficking is like. So I just want
grooming is part of human trafficking.
Well, that's one part of it.
Right. It's
That's
more
one
like
part
it's,
of
it. So they should go to
it's,
prison too.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just a light. It's a most
there
part,
must
right?
be
It's like 60,
so many gateways
Yeah.
on human trafficking
many.
that we
Right.
don't know about. But this movie is based off a true story. So the guy,
Exactly.
the main character,
Yeah.
he came out and he told this story to someone, and
It's
they were
not
like,
a
let's
small
make a
number.
movie out of it.
Like it's still like I think about 35% of human trafficking happens from sources just like that movie.
Okay.
So 35% is huge. When we're
Absolutely.
talking
Yeah,
about
still
human
big, still
trafficking,
big.
that's like hundreds of thousands of people like per year that go
Well,
missing.
you look at you got
Like,
100 people,
right.
Or
35,
maybe
Exactly.
millions,
35.
maybe even
Exactly.
millions. But
Maybe
yeah.
millions, yeah. I don't know the exact
And it's like
numbers,
all
but-
ages, right, guys?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
again,
all ages.
and again, the thing we gotta remember being here is that Orlando is the third highest spot in America for
Third.
human trafficking.
Wow.
Third
And they
in
saying
America.
at Jones
Period.
High School, Jones
Third.
and Evans, a lot of kids get
Yeah,
trafficked
so we gotta-
from
we really
Jones
gotta
and
stay-
Evans
So
High
So this is
School.
why we're releasing.
Keep our
We talked
eyes
about
open.
this behind the scenes off
Yeah.
air. This is why I wanted to bring it on air because we have 100,000 listeners. We're telling the people. Whether you have the corporate media that won't tell you much, we're telling you
Facts.
as a dependent. And this is why
Corporate
we love
media
where we at.
blows.
Come on, boo!
Yeah.
Let me say this though. You know, corporate media try to shut us down, right?
Okay.
I'm not gonna go through the whole destiny.
And they did. They couldn't do it. They did.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
We-
for that, George Michael. Appreciate
And
it.
we got to wrap this
absolutely.
part up, you guys.
do.
Time is of the
I
essence.
know. But of course,
What a show.
First-
We'll be back next week,
we'll be
baby.
back next week. So George Michael, give out your shout outs, please.
Yeah. You guys can follow me on Twitter at George Mike Perez, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at GMikeMedia_. The podcast, the audio version of it, and YouTube is under the G Perspective. Guys, thank you again for having me out here. And you already know it's always a blast.
Come
Let's
on.
go.
Yeah, George
Hey,
Michael.
so I wanted to give a huge shout out to peaceonthestreet.com where you guys can go and buy some fresh merch, some fresh hats, some
You
fresh
see, we're all
shirts.
rocking
We're all
over
rocking
here.
it, baby.
We're all rocking out in
Come on.
here.
Peace on the Streets Radio, baby.
Swag. And of course, a huge shout out to Samuel B. Ings. We're gonna be with him
Yes.
and trying to make a
Yes.
change here in Orlando to
Come
our
on.
future.
That's
mayor.
right.
Everybody go out and vote.
We must.
November.
Yes.
Come on.
Don't forget.
November the 7th, right?
Yes,
That's
November
right.
7th. We're going to bring
Don't
this
make
through
me
there.
come to your house and slap
We
you
will
around.
too. All right, guys, you already know the saddest thing is wasted talent. Don't waste the gift that God has given you. Go full force and never let fear or intimidation stop you.
Buenas noches.
Orlando!
Yeah, bony knees to you, Mimi, and George Mike. Sir. Y'all, we'll be back on again next week, you guys, from 9 to 12. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm your boy, Prince of the South. We'll talk to you guys next week.